Guys, welcome back. We are now covering all the latest updates in this huge Monoposto update. So first off, we have got the electrical discharge and recharge rate. The rate, we've got the new settings here. The recharge rate, how fast you gain battery from breaking the corners, and the discharge rate, how fast you lose it. So these on the screen in a second are going to be probably the most realistic settings you can use. You can take a screenshot of this on the screen right now and pause it, and thank you to this user for letting me use these settings. So next up, we have the new racing line settings and super clipping settings. Of course, you see the disable engine clipping and the racing line, which we'll get to a bit more later. So now we have got a few big updates here. Changes to the racing from the AI itself, changes to their racing line, and we will showcase the super clipping here at Canada with Alex Albon as we immediately try and make the move on both Aston Martins before we even get to turn one. Of course, they are very slow in real life. Bit of a disappointment for the likes of Alonso and Stroll there, but also get to the inside, making the overtake on a fair few cars there up to P18 already. And you can see how close the AI get to each other and how willing they are to stick their nose in on the inside and make overtakes. As there goes Bottas, we go off track just that tiny bit there, and moving into the next corner. There's Perez moving under braking, bit shaky there from him, but we get the better exit, and it's almost 3 wide on the straight. Very close between us. Could not do that before in the latest update. Bottas moves to the inside, not Bottas, Perez moves over to try and defend from us. Very close there, looking very aware, trying to keep the position, but we now make the overtake as we go into the hairpin, trying to make the move on Hadjar, but he covers off that outside line. Now, as we move onto the straight, take a look at the gears and the KPH, MPH, whichever one you feel comfortable at looking at, but I'll take the magnifying glass there, and you can see we're at a very good speed there, but we then lose all that down to even gear 7 before we reach that final chicane at the Wall of Champions. So that is very realistic. We'll see on the straight basically what Canada would feel like before they even get to the corner, losing speed, losing all that time basically on the straight, going down in gears, having to downshift before they get to the final 2 corners, as we have a bit of a mistake at turns 1 and through turns 2, and it's now going to be Hadjar running away with it up the front, battling side by side with another car up ahead as we fall behind. But now we are going to showcase the racing line. It is very cool, very bright. You can see the green there. That means that you go. So as the lights go out, we are immediately going to try and stick to the racing line for most of this lap. Of course, the AI might get in the way of that as we try and stay behind Alonso on this straight into turn 1. You can see the AI don't really take the racing line exactly. They don't all follow the same pattern, meaning that it does allow for more racing, better exits and corner speeds and all that for the AI to try and experiment and try and make moves on each other, as especially on this lap. First lap, they are going to be taking all sorts of different lines as they try and make moves, but we are going to stick to this racing line. You can see the red for the stop and the green for the go. The yellow where you could get on power, but it is a bit risky if you're running on very low settings like me. You might just spin out or go off track if you decide to put full throttle through those sections. As we move into the final hairpin of this circuit now, it's very slow because Portillo's has gone off, but onto the straight you are going to see the super clipping once again in action as we begin to burn all our battery onto the straight. No active aero for some reason, I don't know, but we've got up to gear 8, losing all our battery, the magnifying glass out again as we're losing all that speed once more, down to gear 7, almost down to gear 6 as we move into the final few corners, and onto the straight once more we go over into turn 1, and we're going to suddenly lose all that speed once more down to gear 7 before we get to turn 1. So it's very realistic in my opinion. Big improvement for Monoposto as it's now more realistic to real life. Before you had to kind of lift on the straight if you wanted to regain that battery if you did play the last update, but now you just have to stick to full throttle and the super clipping will do its work as we try to make a move down the inside of Bortoletto at that chicane. It's not going to work for us, as we are still sticking onto this racing line behind Alonso. But it seems like as the race settles in, as the cars start to spread out a bit more, they do tend to follow the racing line a bit better. So it's just meaning when there's a few cars in one area of the tarmac, they might be able to shift over to different parts of the track and take different lines on. Okay, we've spun it at the corner. This is not good. Okay, we have regained our position on the track, but let's move on. Now this, if you're not sure, it's the analog vintage mode, a new feature on the settings there in, I think, race or game setting, I'm not sure, but it kind of makes everything a bit pixelated. It looks cool in my opinion. I might use it a few times. It's really representative of the older F1 TV cameras, but for now I'll be using the modern one. So another update to this Monoposto, very large update, is small details and improvements to the one I noticed the most was probably this. They've got some more like extra bits and bobs on the side of the track, which I find very interesting, more realistic. But another thing, the Monaco circuit has got another update before they removed the elevation change in the last few corners at the initial 2026 update, but now the walls are much tighter. As you can see here, it's very claustrophobic, you might say, as we move through the next couple of turns, and we've already spun it into Stroll. We go in the next lap. Surprisingly, we managed to do the same thing, but this time, even without Stroll, we are struggling, and then we crashed later here. So it definitely shows that I might need to work on Monaco quite a bit. Anyways, moving on, this is all of the smaller changes they've made. I wasn't going to cover everything because most of the bugs I didn't really experience, but there have been extra changes made, so if you want to look at it, here it is, and thank you guys for watching.